Death stinks. It steams and froths and won't be ignored, no matter how hard I try. It hit my nose when we left the house, but I ignored it. It got stronger as we walked down the block, Dee making dumb jokes and laughing too loudly so the old men on their porches would frown at us. The smell grabbed the inside of my nose and wouldn't let go. I shook my head hard and tried to listen to Dee, but it was still there. The August sun beat down on the top of my head, making sweat trickle down the back of my neck and under my t-shirt. Smells are hard to lose. When Grandma was sick in bed, Faye, the old lady from down the hall, came to help me and Mom take care of her. She would walk around Grandma's room, clucking her tongue and folding blankets and helping Grandma's wrinkled, shaky lips sip water from a glass. One day, as Faye was leaving and Mom was thanking her, she took Mom's hands and said, "She'll pass soon." And then she threw her shawl over her shoulders and closed the door really quietly behind her, leaving me and Mom staring at each other with wide eyes. The next day, Grandma was gone. I don't know how Faye would have known, because Grandma had been half gone for a long time by then. She didn't seem much different to me, so I got to thinking it must have been the smell that gave it away. 2 years later, Faye died, all alone in her apartment. Nobody knew for days, until the stink. Dee and I turned the corner toward the mini-mart. We passed an old Latin guy standing behind his sorry bodega with a few mangoes and some mushy bananas spread out for sale. I nodded at him, trying to shake the rotten smell from my head. My eyes scanned the gutter, hoping to see a dead rat or squirrel, or maybe a cat. When I didn't see anything, my stomach started to turn. Dee ran fast a few steps ahead of me, leaping toward a tree and kicking off it hard with his foot. "I'm telling you, man, I've got a serious athletic career ahead of me. Y'all just don't know it yet. I could train for the marathon next week, the one where they close Lakeshore Drive. Or pro wrestling, at least, because you know that's fake," he said. He kept rattling on like he always did, his voice sing-songy like a trumpet in my ears. After death, the smell is strong, which is probably why we don't let dead people sit around too long. A dead grandma can't just sit in your living room. A dead neighbor can't just sit in her apartment. A banger or a little girl hit in a drive-by can't just sit in the street where they fell. Someone comes to get them. If you leave them, they start to rot. Their flesh starts to deteriorate from the inside out until there's nothing left, bones creeping out from behind the skin. And the beautiful ladies would be lining up, my friend, like around the corner, Dee rambled. I smiled and tried to listen, but the smell turned the air around me into foul peanut butter, and my feet struggled for each step. We turned left, Dee jumping from leg to leg and punching the air as we waited for the line of cars to pass so we could cross the street. The smell crept inside my nose and grabbed hold of my brain, squeezing tighter with every step. We walked past a fat city dumpster. I knew it was there before Dee screamed, "Shit, man!" He jumped a little when he noticed it, lying there. I tried to look away, but my eyes fell to the heap on the ground before I could turn. "That's sick, man, for real," Dee said. The dog, or what was left of him, was built like a small tank. Even curled on its side, its legs limp, every inch of fur and skin was huge with muscle. His black fur, scattered with gray spots, nearly hid him there, surrounded by black garbage bags. His thick, square pit bull face was wrenched to the right, farther than a neck should be able to bend, left there awkwardly after being thrown away. Flies dotted his face and nose, crawling into his ears and his open mouth. Scars, some old and some partly healed over, some bloody and fresh, crisscrossed his chest. In the hot sun, steam seemed to rise from his body,